This will be a random talk, and randomness may be necessary, otherwise we get caught up in the mind and not to be able to see anything beyond. The case could be each individual ego, and we get trapped, then there's a penalty for the society or around us, but ourselves too. So the notion of no self is to see what's beyond. And we think in our mind that there's boundary, and the boundary is important to notice, and if we can talk about it, then we can communicate across persons and within ourselves. So one of the concepts I talked was the called glass wall management. If it's important, make it visible. And the framework of that is described in such books as New Shop Floor Management, Results from the Heart, that I published. But also the first book, New Manufacturing Challenge, is talking about how to empower people to connect with each other and expose the problem, typically happens at the boundary, and solve it collectively. So the principle is already shared, but what I see in the world is not so much of each to understand and go beyond the boundary, but each other. So we have made huge progress as humans to use our brain to come up with tools. But there's pros and cons. Of pros is the progress, but along with the progress is the progress of ego. So we need to go beyond. And that is perhaps a discussion about the spirituality, but even without talking about the spirituality, conceptually we need to understand and be prepared so that we can see what's going on and learn the lesson, move forward. The world became so turbulent because of complexities associated with lots of information flying around, and how each can find the passage into the future in life related to others is very important. So on one hand, it's for each individual to understand who we are, and even within ourselves is the mini-me, I call it, different part of me, speaking different language, and if we cannot synthesize the issue, we call it monkey mind. Mind jump around without knowing which way to go. So the idea that I mentioned, glass wall management, which is to make what's important is visible, has to be done within ourselves. So that's what we face individually, and the same phenomena is being faced as in the company, society, organizations, nations, otherwise, all the complexity of the information going back and forth cannot be processed well. So I think it's important for each of us to realize what we face and find a way. Society as a whole and the humanity as a whole has a huge potential, but realizing that it comes back for each of us to manage. And if that's not done right, the whole orchestration at the top may not be easy. So it's a challenge for the whole human species to go beyond what we see as turbulent in today's world. Different ideas expressed from each of their viewpoint, like a tribe mentality, and shouting back and forth. As in organization, each department is focusing their own, but not being able to connect. And within each person, different parts of me or you within yourself focus on the relationship of finance, money, health, work, hobby, and other stuff has to be processed. So what we see in the world is what also may be observed in each organization and each person. Idea of what is important to be made visible, so that the prioritization of what's important has to be assessed. And if we cannot do that, the chaotic situation may happen, or the wars, shouting match in the Congress or in the community, and even within the organization of each company or community would persist. So I'm not to talk about the difficulties, but trying to share the view of how to manage our life given that is the situation. I will try to capture what I see. To live in the world, we have lots of stuff to be processed. For example, the goods we have and what to eat. It goes through all the supply chains, and the delivery, and before that is a production from different parts of the world. It's an interconnected process, just talking about the food, but the same with the information. And of course that relates to the work, what's important and not, and the money moves. So the all interconnection that we've got, it's made so complex that we get lost in it. One of the book I mentioned, called The Shop Floor Management, I said that book is dedicated for those who shed the light to the corners of the world. Organization consists of many organizations to each individual. So at the end, we need to have clarity at the top, what's important and not, and for each in the organization to know what's important and not. And they are connected by the supplier and customer relationship. So complaining doesn't work, but the realization of the connection and the importance of the communication, understanding the priority and sharing it effectively is the question. It's easy to say. But since the issue is coming down for each to have sanity in living life, whatever we do, let's call it a mini universe that each of us may live within. In world, nations, the war, famine, climate change, all the things happening, but within each, how can we harmonize and find priority, what's important and not in our mini universe where we have the relationship with family, friends, or the organization like the company, community, and so forth. So if we are seen as the center, we need to know the priority, what's important and not for our own, as well as for those stakeholders that constitute our mini universe. So bottom line is that as the world gets complex and all the information passes, each of us need to develop the skill to sort of ride the wave of the changes, because you can only do so much within your mini universe. And the politician or the president of the country may have much wider responsibility, but each of us has its own responsibility within that mini universe. Worrying about the future is natural, but let's have a balance. Importance in the society, humanity, and the future, we can be aware, but we are also aware of our mini universe where we have a more direct control or relationship and have a skill to self-manage and manage that mini universe, as I said, and be able to shed the light in each corner of the universe that we are living in. So it's like, don't complain the wind. If the wind shifts, let's manage our own ship according to the change of the wind or the situation, and have the skill, self-manage, and find the destiny, understanding the stakeholders and the mini universe of who I am, my customer suppliers, relationship, my own health, finance, things like that. I think we are equipped to be able to see how we can see that whole picture and develop the skill to self-manage and have the relationship as customers and suppliers to the community, companies, relationship with your friends, family, and relationship within yourself, so that there's clarity. I call the glass ball management. Have a moment to find what's important, what's my mission, what are the priorities, what are the strategies, how we monitor it, and review that process. I share that idea already for the organization and for each mini company. Each of us is the president of that mini company. But the notion can be expanded from the company, organization, the community, our families, friends, and the world. And the mini company, mini universe, connecting to the larger universe. As much as information is passing through in every which direction, and the information has its own impact. What we need is to have clarity, less confusion, and feel secure, and find the security in who we are, what we do, and manage, and to communicate with others given the opportunity we have.